Hey guys, what's up? It's Nana here with another tutorial video. However, this time it's not a part of the modding shenanigans series, but rather more of a spin-off kind of thing. You know, from time to time, I might post other tutorial videos on different subjects. It could be 3ds Max, about Modbox or Photoshop, Nifskope, so on. And in this video, we are going to adjust a mesh to fit our body. Plus, we are going to dive into weight sliding and the importances of creating weight slider support to our mod, because weight sliding, it is a very delicate process. The thing is with creating a weight slider compatibility is it needs to be an exact duplicate. And when I say exact duplicate, the file size, they need to be the exact same file size. The 0 and max weight needs to have the exact amount of vertices and the same weighting. If you do not if you do not have of either of these points, it will either result in in a creation kit or your game crashing, or when you put your weight slider to in the middle, your vertices is going to explode. It's going to be one big ass clusterfuck. It's really ugly. Heck, even when you import, your armor and you open it with Nifskope, if you 0 and you max weight in Nifskope, when you have multiply objects in it, you see a little list. If that list isn't not ordered the same from either the 0 and the max one with a Nifskope, even that may give you some issues. So it's really important that everything needs to be exact the same. So, of course, not the shape, the exact shape, but everything else needs to be identical. Otherwise it's not going to work. I have gone through many trials and errors where I worked so hard on my 0 weight that in the end it became completely useless and unusable, because I accidentally deleted the vertices, so automatically it becomes obsolete. And yeah, so I spent a lot of time and energy into something that in the end was obsolete. So yeah, that sucks. That really sucks when you're at that point. It's really raging. And yeah. So for a long time, I always skipped making a 0 weight because I always used a max weight. But it's important, when you're modder and you create things, it's important to at least know these kind of things, because if you want to make it completely fully mod, completely functional, it's always best to at least give it a weight slider compatibility, so other people that can use it as well. So now that said, let's go dive in. For today, we are going to use the arm bandage amputee, the resource given by Captain Heiko, also known as Heiko the Imperial. They are on Tumblr. Captain Heiko is their main blog when it comes to mods. So I will link them below in the description. So description box. So shout out to Heiko. Thank you for your resource. And now let's dive into it. Now first, cancel. First we're going to do is we're going to max. We're going to import our body. Locate where your body is. So we're going to go work with the male body today, and first we're going to pick the 0 weight. Make sure you check in import skeleton and you import it, and give it some time to let it do its magic. So now it's imported while it still has its body selected. We're going to right click our mouse and we're going to pick free selection. Now what that does is basically it freezes our object, so we cannot select it or use it. Now what we're going to do, we're going to zoom out a bit. We're going to left click with your mouse and hold it and drag your mouse all over the scene so you select your entire skeleton. Right click, hide selection, so that gets out of the way. It's not gone, it's just hidden. It's out of the view. Now we're going to I have to do this. I'm going to viewport configuration. With the previous version, with 2015 and under, the default was usually at one lighting. But with 2016, it has that multiply lighting. And we're going to unfreeze everything. So now it's selectable. So now our lighting is a little bit better. So our light comes from that direction what we are viewing with. It's preferences. It's not a must, but I rather have this kind of view. So all right. Now we're going to name this our main body. We're going here to the modifier. This is your modifier. Here you can work, sort things out, and this is where all the good stuffs begin. And we're going to delete our dismember skin. We're going to click on it, and then while you have highlighted on, we're going to press do not press your delete button on your keyboard, because if you do that, your entire thing will go away. We're going to right click it and then delete it. So that's very important. And same thing we're going to do with this. We're going to call it speedos and right click delete. Right, now that's it. We're going to import our maximum body weight. Now make sure you this time deselect the import skeleton, because we already have imported our skeleton, so that's not necessary anymore. Now import, and we're going to name this weight max speedos, because it's the name of the undie. Press OK. Yeah, and now we're going to rename this one to max body. Now what we're going to do, we are going to select our minimum weight body, so our main body. We'll go down to our modifiers list, and we're going to look for the morpher. Yeah. Now, this has already been highlighted, so we're going to hover over it, right click, and then you get a little pop-up window that says pick from scene. Click on it. And we're going to click our maximum weight body. There. Now you can see it's here in a targets list. And now we're going over here. We pick the upper arrow and we're going to move it all the way up. And as you can see, we have a little weight slider within 3ds Max. So that's a neat little thing. It's really useful when you're creating an armor and you want to add weight slide compatible, because that way you're ensuring that your base body is exactly the same, despite its size. So that's important. Alright, now we're going to freeze that for a moment, and we're going to go to our undie. We're going to we're going to hide selection. And then we're going to pick our speedo. We're going to do the same thing what we do with a body. So we're going to our modifiers list, morpher, right click, pick from scene. Alright, we're going to first now unhide our undie, otherwise we were not able to select it. Now we're going to pick unhide by name, because if you pick unhide all, you will unhide the skeleton and everything, so we want to avoid that for the time being. Now we're going to pick our max weight speedos. Alright, now that's back. Right click, pick from scene, and pick the speedo, it's targeted here, and give it a test spin, and yeah, it's doing its job. Now the important thing is, it's also good to know when you're making a weight slider thing, and one way to know, also a nice way to test out whether it will work in creation kit or in game without troubles, is to also test it out in 3ds Max with this exact same process. Because if I, for example, I have the morpher and I pick it from scene and I have an object here, as you can see, I have the underwear highlighted. I do not have the ability to pick the body. Why? Because it doesn't have the same vertices account or the vertices order, which is also another thing. So yeah, that's why I'm not able to select it, because it's not the same mesh. It doesn't have the same vertices count or vertices order. So automatically I'm not able to select it. So when you have an armor or whatever and you wanted to test it out within max, and you have your 0 and your max weight, and you try to add the max weight, for example, to your 0 weight with the morpher, and it doesn't allow you to pick it, that means it will not work either in game or in creation kit. Or sometimes it will allow you to pick the object, but what happens, it will also explode. The vertices will explode in weight 50, which will also happen in game. So to spare the trouble of testing it in game, you can also test it out in 3ds Max. So if it works in 3ds Max, then you will know it will guarantee work in game. Otherwise, if it doesn't work in 3ds Max, it will not work in game either, which can either result in it will explode or your game will just flat out crash. Okay, it will just say just fuck you, and it will just crash. Alright, now that said, we got our speedo fixed. Now we are going to freeze it, freeze selection for a moment, and now we're going to delete the max weight body. We have imported it, we don't need that anymore. Did I delete the right one? Yeah, I deleted the right one. Alright, unfreeze all. I'm going to turn this down now. Alright, now before we're going to do anything else, we have our scene set up, our workflow and everything. We're going to save it, save the scene by we're going here to your Max window and save or save as. And yeah, alright, we're going to I've already set up the folders for the arm bandage. As you can see, I already have the body scene saved here for but that's because from my previous recording attempt. So yeah, anyway, we're going to save it. Yes, overwrite it. Okay, now that is set, we are going to import our mesh that we are going to work with. So locate your folder where your thing is located it, and there. Make sure you have unflagged this, okay? That's very important. Import, and there we got our mesh. Now we're going back to our modify section, and yeah, as you can see, it already has weighting and stuff. We want to get rid of that. Now we're going to, while we have highlighted this, selected, we're going to right click, and we're going to convert it to an editable poly. Now it's converted into editable poly. We're going to give it also a new name because that's unnecessarily long and it's bugged me. Bandage. Okay. Now, there's also one thing I want to let you guys know. Stuff like this, obviously it's meant for a character that has no arm or partially of their arm chopped off. This is not going to work if you have a body that still has an arm. For example, after we have shaped this and weighed this and it's ready to go to be used. If you're going to equip it on a character that basically still has his arms out, the arm will peek right through it. So it is recommended that for stuff, stuff like this, that you have a custom body with either no arms, or by adding your textures with giving it a transparency, or even editing the skeleton. But for now, I'm just going to assume that that you already have a body with no arm. But don't worry, we are. I can also show you guys how to make a body designed to have no arms. But first, we're going to shape our bandages. So that comes later. Alright, now while this is highlighted, we are going to go to the side. This is your, movement cube to change your viewpoint. So yeah, just click it, hold it, and you can go entirely nuts with it. Alright, but we're going to go on a bit on the side, right click, and pick on move. Now as you can see, our gizmo is all the way here instead of here. How to fix that? Real simple. We're going to our hierarchy window, and then we pick affect pivot only, and then center to object. What it does? Bam! It centers as it says at the object. Then we're just going to convert to edit to poly, and then we are back to our modifiers list and our a window where we're going to work with. Now we're going back to the side. Alright, we're going to adjust this model we're just going to envision that the body has no arm length till here. So yeah, we're going to select it, and then we're going to move it. This is for the gizmo to go down. There. This is for going to the left or right, obviously. And the green one is for front and back. So we're going to adjust where exactly we want to have these, like that. And then right click, we're going to pick rotate. Oh, Jesus. Alright, and then we are going to adjust stuff a little bit. Yeah, this will do for now. There. Yeah, it's not perfect, but we're going to shape it to perfection. Alright, now that said, we're going to go here to selection, and we're going to want to pick on vertex. Now, you can see here all its vertex point, and before we're going to do anything else, we're going to go here to soft selection, select use soft selection. Now soft selection, it's I'm going to pick a vertex. So the red dot you see there, that's the vertex I selected, and then from this area you see orange that goes slightly to yellow, and then to green, and eventually it will go to blue. That's basically the amount of you're pulling with you. So fall off is right now at 20. So when I push, everything that you see colored will get moved. The more orange it is, the more it gets moved. The more yellow, green to blue it gets, the lesser it gets moved around. And you can basically adjust it by the more you go down, the less you get pulled. So you can see what the one that gets colored gets basically pulled till the blue that gets almost not pulled, and this doesn't get pulled at all. So it's sometimes best not to use too much fall off or too less fall off. Otherwise, it will pull too much or too less with you. All right. One important thing also, which can be useful. Here you have our perspective and shaded. Click here. What it does, it basically shows how your object gets viewed. So we can also pick realistic. We get a bit more shadow, shaded, consistent color, like that, or this. This is very useful because we can also see our polygons, and yeah, that's basically useful. And for now, we are just going to pick our vertice here. But for now, it really depends on preferences. On some cases, I prefer it checked on, and in other cases, I don't. But yeah, it's just basically depending on what you prefer. And now we're going to shape it. So just click on a vertice and work the shape around with your gizmo. Pull it a little bit like that. There, shape it a little bit off. Yeah, that is transparent. Is that on purpose? I'm going to have to pick the original Nif first because oh yeah, alright. Okay. So and then just shape your object to the way you like it. And I'm going to put the fall off a little bit lower, like that, so we don't have anything clipped, even if it's transparent. It's just it's a pet peeve, I don't like to have any clippings, like, at all. It's like a major no for me. So yeah, if you guys happen to struggle against a certain subject and you guys would like to know, more about it, don't hesitate to either drop an ask on my Tumblr or in the comment section here on YouTube with request videos. Like you're you tackle on a certain problem, and if I know how to fix it, then I will create a video based on how to fix that thing. And otherwise I would try to look for eventually for a solution. Maybe I'm able to find one and create a video based on that. So yeah, don't hesitate to shoot me with any questions you guys have, because I'm here to help. There. Alright, so once you're done shaping and you're quite happy with it, yeah, that looks pretty okay. Yeah, okay. I can live with this. I'm pretty okay with how it looks. Alright, now we're going to back to our modifies list. What we are going to do is make sure you save your file, your scene from time to time, because you never know. Now we're going to our modifies list. We are going to drop down to skin wrap, and we're going to change vertex deformation to face deformation. Wait all points. And now we're going to pick our add button, and we're going to pick our body. So your body sits here, and alright. So that becomes black. So basically it means you can take that as cue. It's done with putting all the weights in, and then convert to skin. Now we're going to delete our skin wrap, and now we have our mesh. Basically we gave it weight. So oh, mind my burps. So we're going to save it. Now before we're going to do anything else, we are going to make sure that it's weighted properly, so it doesn't have any weird weight clippings or whatever. Unfreeze. Unhide all. We have a skeleton back. For that, we can yeah, that's a word for another video tutorial, but way to check your weighting, since we already have a skeleton, there are multiple ways. One way is to freeze selection, and freeze this too, so we can pick our bone, and we'll remove it. Alright, I'm not in a correct scene for that. Alright, what we do, we're going to unfreeze all, so have your scenes saved. Alright, we're just, now it's saved, we're going to quickly delete the morpher for now. Because we're just going to check if it has proper weighting. And for that we're going now to export it. And we're going to there. And we're going to import it as a NIF. I'm going to give it a name test. Now you make sure we delete this, and so that the weld vertices becomes 0. Export. Alright, now we're, I'm going to link this file in under the description box. It's a scene that I work with to check weighting. So I call it weight checking workspace. So yeah, don't save. You can ignore this. So basically we have this scene contains a skeleton with and if you now import a body or an armor and you move it around, it will not give a distortion what you just saw. So I don't know how else to explain it, but in this way you can also, in this scene, I'm able to import animations into 3ds Max, and so it allows to play animation within it. So now we're going to import our test. Make sure you have not flagged, because we already have a skeleton in it. Now, whilst everything is selected, we're going to freeze selection. We're going to pick our bone. Right click your mouse and make sure you have your move on to have your gizmo, and then we're going to move it. As you can see, there's no distortion. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry, guys, but you know what I mean. It's not doing the weird thing, you know, like. Okay, so so far it looks good. You know, I see no weird thing it's doing with weighting. And just to be sure, I always like to import an animation. Desktop, checking animations. Now for this, there is a tutorial about this on how to extract animations and turn it into a NIF, so you can basically import it into 3ds Max. That is a you know, it's maybe a good worth to create a video on how to do that. So if you guys want to see a tutorial video on how to do that, just drop a comment below. Otherwise, I will just link the tutorial on how to do that, because I know there's a tutorial on how to do all this. So, but if you guys would prefer to have a video made by me to show you how to do it, then just say it and I will make one. Alright, so we're going to heads up, it's a female walking animation that I used to use. I do not use it anymore because, you know, I'm more into a natural walk. This is more, you know, more of a catwalk kind of thing. So so far it looks good. It looks really good. We're going to pause it. And we're going to do my favorite part when when I have this animation loaded, the walking animation. Yeah. You probably guys have already seen this on my Tumblr, but I call this I shit my pants and move bitches animation walk. So I have no idea how to export this animation and to turn it into an actual replacer. If I know how to do that, I am going to achieve that, you guys. So for you guys who wish to walk like this in game, just give me a nudge. So I might figure out how to turn it into an actual replacer. But yeah. Anyway, so everything looks good. I do not see any weird clipping. We're going to pause it for a bit and move it. We're going to unfreeze off for a moment. We'll get a few. Yeah, everything looks okie dokie. And nothing more to be worried about. So the reason why we're going to check if our weighting is on point is because this step is very important. Once you're 100% sure you're happy with your weighting, we're going to go to the next step, and is to create our maximum mesh size. Because when we're doing that, we are no longer going to edit and tweak the weighting, because the moment you change the weighting on the max version, it's not going to work. It's going to fuck up. So I'm happy with this. We're going to discard this entirely. We're going to reopen our workspace that we worked on. Don't save. As you can see, we still have our morpher and etc. because I saved before I deleted them. Alright, so we're going to hide this. Hide selection. Alright, we are happy with our amputee bandage. So we're going now to we could skip this by adding the dismember modifier. It's not a bad thing. I sometimes skip it if I create an accessory and I want to slot it on a slot in creation kit. Thing is, with dismember skin modifier, mostly you click on it, you select your entire mesh, and you assign it to a slot, by leaving the dismember skin modifier out, basically allows you to slot it on any type of slot within creation kit without having the need to constantly change it in Nifskope. I could give this, for example, Jesus, we're going to give it this left arm, and then we're going to here and export it. So this is our 0 weight. I'm going to save it and then export it. Bibbidi bobbidi boom. Okay, now we're going to unhide all, and now what we're going to do, we're going back to our max body, and we're going to size it up to 100. Well, we can also size it up to 100. And we're going back to our bandage. Now we're going to delete the modifier for now. Do not delete the skin. Please, for the love of God, do not delete it. Okay? It's important you do not delete it. I cannot stress that enough, okay? So now we're going to back to our edible poly, and now we're going to shape it for our maximum body. Yeah. Alright, just going to zoom out a little bit so you can feel a vertice. There. Now with soft selection still selected, we're going to size up a little. And we're going to right click your mouse and move. And we're going to move it a bit like that. And then we're going to shape it till we are happy with it. Alright, so now I guess I'm done with the max shape. Yeah, like maybe on the lower part to just a little bit more. Alright, so I'm happy with this shape. So now we have our max max shape ready. We are going to give it a also this dismember skin modifier. Just for the sake of it, we did it at a left hand, left arm. Right. Select everything and then go here. Now we go same as what we did before. We're going to hide this, that, and we're going to export it. Also as Nif, and we're going to change the 0 to 1. Alright, so now it's importing. The moment of truth, we are looking if they are the same size, and as you can see, they have the same size. And that is very important. They cannot, even if it's just one bit, it will give you troubles. Like, it has to be the exact same thing, guys. I cannot stress you guys enough for that. So now we're going to see if the order is also the same, but I assume it is since it's only one mesh. So we're going to pick our bandage here. Yeah, that looks good. Just to be safe, we're going to click it. Right click with your mouse. Mesh. Face normals. Right click. Mesh. Smooth normals. Smooth. Right click. Mesh. And then update. Tangent space. Bam. Alright, so as you can see here, it has speedos and main body, also important. Hidden, but still important. That is a new thing with 3ds Mask 2016. With 2015 and anything lower, I didn't had that before. Wait, with 2015 I had that too. Like, if with anything below from 2012 and 2014, if I would hit a object and I would export it, that said object that is hidden does not get exported with, but for some reason it does now with the newer version. Why? Don't ask me. But don't worry, we just simply are going to delete those. Controlled and then control delete to delete our shape there. Main body too. Now we're going to save it. Yes. We're going to load this one. We're basically the same thing what we did with our first mesh. So right click, face normals, right click, smooth normals, smooth, right click, update tangent space. Now we're going to delete these as well. This one. Save. Yes. And I'm going to have peak. Still same size, so that's good. That's what we want. Alright. Now, just to be safe, I'm going to save the scene as this one. So this is still our zero mesh, and the one we are going to save is our max one. They are technically still the same, but just as a backup, so we can go move back and forth if we mess something up. Now we're going to click on new, and now we are going to import our bandages. Import skeleton. There. And now we're going to import our other one. We select. Okay. Going to select our 0 one. You don't have to delete this, but make sure you go here down below, because if you try to add a the morpher on top of this, 3ds Max will crash. Sometimes it will crash, but most of the time it will. So we're just going to see if it is working. Morpher. Pick from scene. We are able to pick it. That's a good start. And as you can see it, it's working. So this means that it works in 3ds Max. So that automatically means it will work in game as well, and it you are able to load it in Creation Kit and to safely turn it into mods so you can actually use it in game. Because if we would see anything weird happen or we will not be able to pick it, that will give you the cue that it's not going to work and it's a no-no. So yeah, so we're basically safe now. So we're going to we're going to minimize it, so we can select this one, hide selection, so we can have a better look at it. There, 0, 0. This is how it looks at 0 weight. We're going to go to 50. This is how it looks at 50 weight. And then at 100. Okay, so like I said before, this is only going to work if you have a character that obviously doesn't have a hand here. Because otherwise, you're going to see a hand clipped right through it. So I do recommend for you to have a, if you're going to use this kind of thing, to have a custom body for that. But I am assuming that whoever is watching this, you know, to anyone who's curious about this, that they have that. If not, if you guys would like to know how to create a body with one missing arm, and it's compatible with weight sliding, comment below in the comment section or drop a ask on my Tumblr and I will create it. So yeah, so far so good. I guess this is the end of the video because yeah, we have shaped our object and we have tested it. We have test weighting, it has the correct shape, and now you will be able to create your mod in your creation kit, have this in your folder and assign it, and then you're good to go. So we're going to cancel it. So yeah, the ones who are watching this, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as I said, if you guys got any questions or would like to see a video tutorial on something, just drop a note or yell at me and I will see, and hopefully I can make one. And I hope this video has been clear. So yeah, I hope it has been insightful. I am a bad teacher. I am bad at explaining things, but I try my best. So if you guys got some feedback, if I can improve with certain things, that whether it's better at explaining things, whether I go too fast, please just tell me so I can improve on that, okay? So thanks for watching, and make sure if you like this video to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Tumblr, and if you would like to support me, you can also become a Patreon on my Patreon page, because I have officially launched my Patreon. There I will basically, I have made a challenge for myself that every month I will create an accessory. So I will design a few stuff on paper first or on tab, and I will share it with my Patreon, and then my patrons can basically vote which they like the best, and the best one gets picked and gets become the accessory of the month, and that will get added to the package. So each month gets a new accessory added, created, completely made from scratch and retextured by yours truly, and it's going to be a Patreon exclusive mod. And I got and yeah, and eventually I'm also going to create Patreon exclusive armors, but that's probably going to be added in the future. But for now, it's just you know, you can pledge yourself to see my feedback there. My feed, I mean, so you can see all the secret and forbidden knowledge I'm doing and stuff, and to gain access to the accessories. So yeah, so go pledge yourself if you can. Help me to achieve to get a new rig. So I'm really saving up for a new one. So any help will be appreciated. So yeah, thank you, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Hellcat.